What's up, friends? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. I did not think that the ongoing drama for the Dolphins this offseason would be around Jalen Ramsey, and yet here we are. There have been conversations amongst Dolphins fans about who is going to be going out the door as soon as last season ended, and most of those include Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, Tyreek Hill. But all three of those are looking like they're going to be keeping their jobs for the 2025 season, and it is looking like Jalen Ramsey is probably going to be the biggest name that is going to be exiting the Dolphins that is still on the team. Jalen Ramsey is absolutely still an incredible player and is certainly a player that the Dolphins really need right now with how weak the secondary group is. He is the easily most experienced. He is easily the most talented player that we have. But with the salary cap limitations that the Dolphins do have, he will be the third most expensive player over the next 3 seasons the Dolphins currently have on the roster. And after June 1st, the Miami Dolphins can save a whole lot of money if they let him go. It's hard to figure out what the official figure is, what the Dolphins would be saving, and what the dead cap situation would be looking like if the Dolphins do choose to cut Jalen Ramsey post June 1st. But the rough number we're looking at is $20 million in dead cap space and $50 million saved over the next few seasons the Dolphins would be looking at if they do let go of Jalen Ramsey. From a numbers perspective, I absolutely get it. He's only getting older now, and it will be, like I said, the third most expensive player on this Dolphins team over the next few seasons, and the position group is already really weak, so how much is he going to be able to carry this group as he gets older in age? You've kept a lot of this core and supplemented the core with 26, 27, 28-year-old guys that are blossoming or moving into the prime of their careers. Jalen Ramsey is looking like he's starting to go over the cliff, and we know in football, when they go over the cliff, they fall quickly. So yeah, absolutely probably has still some juice left to squeeze in him. However, just from a monetary standpoint, it probably makes sense for him to go, and we're just going to have to accept that this defense is going to be a lot weaker without him. Now, everything I've mentioned up to this point is really the only logical in something that you can quantifiably look at and say, okay, this makes sense. There's been a whole bunch of drama with him that I really wouldn't have expected. Yesterday, Jalen Ramsey tweeted the number 5, ... around 11 a.m. And then today, the false narratives, either lame or funny, ... Don't let it faze you. Wish well and blessings among always. Prayer emojis. This for anyone who needs it, by the way. Finish the week strong. Love y'all for real. And then today, when Mike McDaniel was asked about Jalen Ramsey, this is what he had to say.
I'm very excited to coach a football team, and that's not dismissing, but quite honestly, like I everything's an opportunity cost. So I think it is quite honestly irresponsible for me to put down some of the thoughts and focus on the players that we're working now to build a performance for the season and concern myself with that. I think and that's where I should be, I think. So,
what the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Did that make sense to you? I watched that probably 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 times, and I have no idea what Mike McDaniel means by that. Mike McDaniel is a guy who is more and more getting on my nerves. What was once a playful, jovial, lighthearted, players first guy where we all saw him really is now just turning into childish, uninspiring. I mean, you look at the 100 stutters there he had at the end, is just somebody that I cannot imagine leading a football team to the promised land. Smart guy, absolutely. Student of the game, can craft up a really good offense, but just a leader of men. He continues to irk me and continues to cast doubts in my mind as to whether he is the right guy. Those are questions that we won't have the answer to right now, and maybe this time next year we'll have a different coach. And if we have a different coach, we probably have a different GM. And if we have a different GM, we might end up with a different quarterback. It's a whole whirlwind of possibilities of what could end up happening with this Dolphins roster. But just for now, Jalen Ramsey is the ongoing drama. Personally, I think he's gone. I don't want him to leave. I think this Dolphins team gets a lot worse with him exiting. But just from looking at the money, before we even get to that, look at this Dolphins roster. Do you genuinely believe the Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl this year? If your answer to that is anything but yes, Why are you holding on to an aging asset that is only going to get more expensive and limit your ability to bring in younger players, better players, players that come and have more of an impact on this team? Cornerback position, 100% right now, is the biggest glaring weakness on this team. If you compare it across the league, you're probably giving it a D rating. Getting rid of Jalen Ramsey pretty much solidifies maybe what will be the worst cornerback group across the NFL this upcoming season. But as weird as it sounds, is it really that bad to go from a D to an F? I mean, look, I've gone through school. C's get degrees. That was my mantra going through FAU. And look, it worked. Somewhere in the corner of my room, probably somewhere I should probably find that. I have no idea where my degree is. C is okay. C gets you done. A D does not. A F certainly does not. So if you're already not passing, is it really worth it to spend that much money on an old player to, instead of completely failing, get a D instead? I think that makes sense. Now, there is obviously the dilemma of you want to win games, so you want to have as good of players everywhere as possible. And the Philadelphia Eagles are just using a different bank and a different system than the rest of the league is currently, and they currently have all pros virtually at every single position. We do not. We're probably not a Super Bowl team. So holding on to Jalen Ramsey, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But this is just weird. All right? Jalen Ramsey, we got him subtweeting. Who knows who he's subtweeting? Is he subtweeting, guys in his own locker room? Because we saw Cater Kahoo come out and say that, we're concerned about guys that are on this team. Mike McDaniel makes his really long-winded, weird response to say absolutely nothing and just be more of a ha-ha guy like he loves to be, and Jalen Ramsey's tweeting. I don't know exactly what's going on inside. And then literally right now, as I'm recording this, I refreshed Twitter, and it's a video 1 minute ago of Sean McVay of the Los Angeles Rams being asked if they would be interested in trading for Jalen Ramsey, and his response is, yeah, we never close out those opportunities. I think that makes perfect sense. The Los Angeles Rams cut ties with so many older players, so much expiring contracts that were getting really expensive, and they got really young, and they got good. A lot better than I think even they expected to be. A lot of those guys, like looking at Jared Verse, looking at Puka Nacua, looking at their running back, Kyron Williams, that one took me a second. They've got a really solid young core on both sides of the ball, and they pushed that Eagles team all the way up into the last possession of the game. They win that game, you're looking at Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, good offense, young emerging defense against Jaden Daniels. I think in that game I would have liked the Rams, and then Rams versus Chiefs. Man, that would have been electric. That was the Super Bowl we should have gotten, 7 years ago now? Rams now are in a position where they traded away Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey is exactly the kind of player they need right now. A more of a solidified unit of that secondary to go around and complement the young players they have on the roster. Something like what the Dolphins tried to do when they brought in Jalen Ramsey. I think he's gone. I think it makes a lot of sense. Hate to see a really good player go, but so much chatter is happening. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And Jalen Ramsey not being present at OTAs, I don't even know if I mentioned that at any point in this video so far, has not been present, as well as Zach Zeeler, but he has his contract extension, one of the best players, if not the best player on our defense. Jonnu Smith was one of the lone standouts last year on offense. That's okay. I understand. They cannot be there. They have their reasons, I'm sure. Not concerned. Jalen Ramsey not being there. The team continuing to answer questions about him. Now other teams are directly being asked about Jalen Ramsey. Weird stuff going on Twitter. I think he's gone. Let me know your thoughts down below on the comments. Will Jalen Ramsey be wearing the number 5 in aqua this year for the Dolphins? Or will he be wearing it in blue for the Rams, wearing it in purple for the Vikings? Or insert team down below where you think Jalen Ramsey is going to end up. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.